Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, like the hair color change? I got kind of bored, so I changed my hair color. Wrong. Actually, this is today's haircut. So the last time we were together, we created a 6-panel bob. So that's the foundation of what this haircut is based on. What we're now gonna do is add elevation, and we're gonna do that at a 45-degree angle, so we are building weight. So here are two examples. Can I be shorter? Absolutely yes. This is a wig, obviously, like mine. But this is where we're going to today. We're gonna build some weight and then we're gonna remove some weight. So let me remove this for starters and all that. You can see my hair keeps on growing and growing and growing. Hey, one thing I want to mention, I am now on MindTap, finally, thanks to Jennifer and Rachel. I appreciate mucho. So basically, my course key for all of you phase oneers and anyone else that wants to join, you do realize if you read the chapter, if you work on the activities, if you're doing that, you are clocking hours. So if juniors need to review for vocabulary words and things like that, or seniors need to review for vocabulary words, things like that, you can use this information as well. Also, student teachers can watch my videos to see teaching technique maybe. But anyways, my course key is capital MTPN, then the little dash, PG1N dash DHNV as in Victor. So anyways, join me on MindTap. There's tons. I actually read the whole thing yesterday and played some of the activities, played the videos. Actually, pretty interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. Found I got a couple questions wrong on a test. So be sure to do that and add to your grade scores and all that. And I'll be checking on you guys, so keep on working on that. I would like to do the final test for chapter 16, let's say on Monday. So let's do that and take that test and get you a grade in the grade book. Our next chapter will be chapter 17 on MindTap. I'll also do the lectures. I'll do some demos, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, 45-degree haircut. Usually with my guests, I always start with that 6-panel bob to get my foundation. I will then, let me show you on the diagrams here. I'm going to use a stationary guide. So I'm going to use a vertical guide down the center back of the head. I am elevating the hair at 40.5 degrees. And I'm almost cutting off like a little wedge of cheese is basically what I'm doing. So I've got my doll. I've got her wet, shampooed, and conditioned. The first thing I'm going to do is find the occipital and part her in a diagonal parting to encompassing about an inch of hairline. So we're going to cut vertically and diagonally today. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So again, I am using my head shape as my foundation. So I'm going to be going from here to right here on the hairline. So taking about a finger's width on each side. So I'm creating a triangle from my occipital to my hairline. So here's my wet doll. Also, I really don't need any of the hair on the side. So I'm going to take my apex parting, the finger behind the ear parting, just that radial part we've done a gajillion times. Let's just get this hair out of the way. We're not going to need it till later. There's no reason for it to be in your way. There we go. Get that out of the way. If I ever want to find my occipital, I'm going to go with the hairline, lay my comb on the head. Where the comb goes off the head shape is my occipital. So I've got the center and diagonal forward. Clip that up out of the way. Diagonal forward. Doing the opposite on the opposite side. Combing the hair out of the way. Clean partings are excellent. Get that out of the way. There we go. So, and I'm looking for symmetry in this. So there we go. It should form like a letter A. If you've got a V, you got a problem. You're gonna have a different haircut. Okie dokie. So be sure to do that. So I'm going to start out with a vertical parting that's going to encompass hair on this side of center and this side of center. If it helps, I will just pin these two pieces out of the way. That way you can see a little better. So there I have a little vertical piece, okay? See that? Now I'm going to take that little vertical piece and I'm going to elevate it at 45 degrees. If my hair comes straight out of my head, I've got 90. Notice I've got a lower elevation than 90. Can you see that, guys? Also, get this out of the way. There we go. Here we go. 45. See how we got a little piece, see that hair right there? Got a little piece of cheese, a cheese wedge. Here's the deal, guys. A lot of people will do this and pivot their fingers this way. What you create is a tail. See how this girl has a tail on her head right there? That's great because it's a wig. You got to hide stuff. But we don't want a little tail there. So if you ever go to the grocery store and someone's got a little point in the back of their swing bob, they have intentionally changed the finger angle or something. And that might work if she had some crazy hairline issues. So there we go at 45. Because I'm standing on this side of the part, my fingers want to go up to the ceiling. If I were on this side, and notice how my leg right here is kind of pivoting forward, or it's kind of lunging forward. If I'm on this side and my weight is on my right leg, my fingers will be pointing at the ground. So if I'm lunging or have the majority of my weight on my left, they're going up. The other way, they're going down. Is there a right and wrong? Absolutely not. So there we go, 45. My finger angle, you can see, is diagonal, and I'm going to cut off the wedge of cheese. Okay, and I'm going to check it, change my footing position. I'm also going to check it the other way as well. So there's my stationary guide. When I say stationary guide, that means everything is going to come back to the center part. I'm now going to take a diagonal parting and I'm going to over direct the hair to the center. We're not going to over direct to the previous guide. We are going to over direct to the stationary guide. We'll give you two different haircuts. There we go, pulling this hair over because I'm standing over here. My fingers are down and I'm cutting up. Let down another piece. Diagonal parting. Why are we using diagonals? It helps round out the head. If I take vertical partings on this, I will get a skinnier bob. So it will have a little bit of different look. And that's okay too. There we go. Make sure you're seeing your guide. And last piece. And over. You'll notice you'll probably start cutting less and less hair because the hair has to travel further to the center, okay? And you will also notice that the layers now go from short, the layers get longer and longer. Heading to the other side. I'm going to swing around on this side if I want to. So my finger angle was pointing down on that side. So on this side, it's going to point up. There we go. See your guide? I'm not pulling my fingers past my guide. And pulling it back. Now, if you want to compress it, you can check it that way. So I'm going to take everything, almost like a ponytail, and pull it in the center. If there's anything going over, trim it. Also, if I were cross-checking it, I would be elevating it up. And look how I've got this little arch. Okay? And both sides will be the same length and all that. At this point, I will have my client turn her head under or pivot it forward, and I'm going to re-block in her 0 degree haircut. And since the skin doesn't want to do that, I'm going to put one finger between the skin, and I'm going to reshape my 0 degree haircut on each side. And this will just clean up, get stragglers, give a crisper edge. Some people will do that even with their trimmers. There we go. And see, you've already got layers, okay? Next step. We're going to go up to not the apex, but the crown, and we're going to draw another diagonal line to the top of the ear. And we're going to let this hair down. And we're going to do basically the same thing. Our 45 degree angle, you can see this. Our 45 degree angle is up different on this head shape. So we're going to cut the lower hair at a 45 and a different 45 in that middle. Okie dokie? So here we go. And I know I put my shears down, but it's really hard to draw on the board. So apex, or crown, I'm so sorry, crown to the top of the ear. And I'll show you what this looks like once I get it. And then no, for teachers, let me tell you guys, if you're standing over here, their students aren't seeing you. And you can see now, me watching me, the class cannot see that. So we're here at the crown, and we're going to the top of the ear. So that's giving me another parting. Again, I've got everything tangled up. Good going. Way to go. And to the top of the ear. There we go. There's what you got. And see how now your layers are hidden because this hair fell over it. I'm going to again, and this is a hot tip too. If you ever forget where your stationary guide is, put a clip there, and know that all the hair comes back to here. What we don't want to do here is watch how far we're elevating this hair here, okay? Because once I've pulled it up to here, I cut a hole in there. So we'll talk about that as we go. I just want to give that red hot warning right off the bat. I'm going to get my vertical section like we started out with. Start with that. So there's my, can you see my vertical section? Right in the middle there. We will already have the bottom part cut, because you can see right there. This section's at 45. This section is now at 45. We definitely don't want to be way up, but we don't want to be at 30 or something like that. So that's why the head shape, again, is so important, because 45 down here looks different than 90 or 45 in this parietal ridge back here, okay? So be watching how much elevation you're putting in. Remember, we're holding the hair lower than the horizontal of the head. That's why we were building weight. Later this afternoon, I'm going to dry this hair and we're going to remove some of that weight, and you'll see some of the wedge come out and soften up. Okay, transferring. I'm looking at the hair in the middle there to be at 45. There we go. And continuing the diagonal line up. So there we go. There's the lower 45, as I call it. At the occipital, I elevate a little higher, but it's still 45 degrees to the head shape. I'm starting to dry out. I don't want half dry, half wet, because consistent moisture is key to an even haircut. Good. Diagonal parting. This will be over directed to our stationary guide in the back. Get this out of the way where you can see it. There we go. You guys can always Instagram me, direct message me at Instagram at Glam1956 if you're struggling. That's the best way I know to communicate. You know, you guys are a whole lot more tech savvy in this. And this has been, I will tell you, kicking my butt. Anyways, so my finger is going downhill on this side. There is, I can see my guide there. There's my lower 45. Now I'm gonna walk up and get my upper 45. See it right there, guys? You can take your comb, there we go, and up. Don't cut past your second knuckle unless you just wanna cut yourself. Notice I'm not cutting this independently of this piece. I'm sandwiching everybody together. So I've got my lower part of my 45. You don't even have to worry past your second knuckle yet. There we go. There's your lower 45. Now I'm going to comb my upper 45. There we go. That was a little high. There we go. Last piece. Notice you are cutting less and less hair. There's your lower 45. There's a little to cut because some was up in there when we missed a strand. See how this hair did not come up to here. If it does and you cut it, you will cut a hole right there in your perimeter. Going to this other side, doing the same thing. Diagonal forward, bringing the hair back to the stationary guide. I'm going to swap sides. I think you'll be able to see that better. And student teachers, kind of watch that in the screen if you're able to watch the screen and see what your students are seeing. Okay, so this is a whole other art to itself. There is my lower 45, pulling it back to center. So I can do that in 2 pieces if I need to. Some of you have smaller hands than I do. I get that. There we go. Grabbed a little bit of hair, but that's fine. Yas. Taking a diagonal forward parting. You take as big a piece as you feel comfortable with, okay? See it there? There's my lower 45, and cut that. Or, here's another thought. Take your upper 45. There we go, see it? Bam, bam, missed a piece. Now, elevate it down and pick up your bottom section. So it's running in a line, just like that. And last piece. There we go. I think it helps to cut the upper one first. There we go. So I'm going to make sure that flows. There we go. And I'm going to pull this side all the way back. And that will give it a slight beveling effect on the side. There we go. Come on around here. Notice I'm switching to my bigger teeth of my comb to put everybody living where it lives, getting tangles out, things like that. Looking down here to see, yep, there we go. This is basically the hair up here. Now I'm going to take this hair again, take this section, bring it all the way back to my center back. And there we go. I am going to blow dry this real quickly. I'll do a wrap dry on it, and I'll teach you wrap drying next week, and a round brush. And then I'm going to take the hair dry and cut out the wedge. But still, you can see that we do have layering in here, and we have a totally different shape than we did with our 6-panel bob. Okay, so there we go. Here's our 6-panel bob. So can you see the different shape in the 2 haircuts on the whiteboard? Good? So I'm going to blow dry this. I'll be back in a minute, and then we will do a dry cut. Hey guys, I'm back again. So you can see I've got a wedge-like bob. So the main thing is I have a lot of weight right here. And I've built up the weight on purpose because I want to show you that the more you elevate the hair, you get that weight out. So I'm going to do this dry so you can see this. Would I have done this haircut at this point dry in the salon? No, not really. But this is more for demonstration purposes than anything else. Okie doke. So it would certainly help if I've got my shears right there. So let's diagram this out. What we're going to do is take a V-shaped parting right in here where we have not cut. And we are going to elevate the hair at 45 degrees again to this part of the head shape. Okay? So that's one thing we're going to do. We're also going to take the front, take some weight out, and over direct it at the top of the hair. For all you barbers that say this doesn't matter, it certainly does, because that's the principle of a pompadour. For a men's haircut, you can buzz it all the way around here, but you've got to take the top and pull it back to keep your length in the front so it goes over the shorter hairs to make a pompadour. So just because it's a woman's haircut, it isn't really the principles of the principles. Okay? So Deborah here parts her hair on both sides of her head, so that's why she has a center part. I'll show you how to do it for a side part also. So we were working in this back vertical, right? So I'm going to take hair and I'm going to kind of create a big giant triangle or a piece of pie. And this is more compressed cutting, but don't be scared. So this is more compressed cutting. So we've got that little pie triangle shape. I'm going to come over here. Remember, I'm going to be at a stationary guide, so that means I can't pull it that way, I can't pull it this way, I have to pull it to the center. If that helps again, put the clip right there. So I'm still pulling the hair at 45 to the head shape. Notice if I go up at this, I'm going to cut a whole lot more hair off than I am back here at 45, okay? But if you want a shorter top, fluffier, things like that, you can change your elevation from 45 to 90. So not all haircuts are hardcore one thing or another. Remember the wedge of cheese we had when we started the haircut at the bottom? Well, you will see it again right there. See how that isn't like a square shape? That's kind of a wedge of cheesy shape. I guess that's my best analogy. For compressed cutting, I want to make sure all the hair is the same tension, pulled super tight, and cut the wedge of cheese off. Okay? So my fingers are basically, my finger angle is parallel with the wall. Notice the hair is still shorter here than it is up here. Now, let's see if that softened that shape out. There we go. See how I got a softer shape? Also, too, by over-directing this to the center, over-directing to this, I continued making my layers get longer. A lot of people at this point start coming around and pulling hair out of over-direction and putting different layers on the sides. Is that incorrect? No, if you want layers on the side. I don't want layers on the side. I want my layers to slowly get longer. So if you go around here and pull this out from to the planes of the head, you will certainly get a different haircut. And that's fine if that's the haircut you want. You just need to play with that, okay? So, my girlfriend here is a little heavy on the sides, but I don't want to take away my perimeter line. Again, I'm going to elevate that hair. You will find, honestly, a lot of this hair won't even make it all the way up here. I'm going to connect it with that little hair, that little wedge of cheese hair. And there we go, over directing it back. Can you see that piece of hair? Hopefully you can. See how this is all going to come back? It is over directed to the center, stationary guide. There it went. Boop. I bet if I come some more up, she may not even get all the way up here. And she did not, okay? So I'll take a piece from that side and a piece from this side. So I will have a guide back here and a guide on your side. I'm pulling it way, oh, there it is. See it, guys? Whoop. Like sound effects? Does that work? And there we go. So that just took some weight off there. Did I have to? No, I just like to, so it's not quite as heavy. If she had super fine hair, I may have just kept that disconnected and kept that all one length there and not put anything in there. But now that softened that haircut. Right here, I got a little problem. And this is stuff you see dry. See where that's really heavy and chunky right there? So I'm going to stand in front of my guest. I'm going to pull this down at 0 degree elevation. And I'm going to trim my perimeter line. There we go. That look nicer now? Just kind of cleaned up. Check it over here. And you can see this from the back too. See how that's kind of heavy and kind of chunky there? Let's see, deet, 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 deet. So if I need to go in there, and a lot of times I do a lot of cleanup dry, guys, because hair will start responding the way it naturally falls. I'm going to cut it 0 at first. If I need to add some, if I need to over direct it back, I will, but I don't think I need to. There we go. And that just kind of cleaned up my thing. So, do you think you could do that? Huh? Pretty cool. Not a difficult haircut, really. Once you do it, the more you do it, you get better and better and better. So I could have done this instead of bringing it all the way back to the center. I could have brought it each time to the previous section. I would have got a different look. I can change my elevation. I can do anything I want to once I understand the principle base design. So up on the board, if you need to photograph or save any of those diagrams, please do get back with me. I can give you hard copies of those. Anyways, tomorrow, girlfriend's going to change her mind. She's going to want some bangs. She wants some different stuff because she is just tired of this swing bob. Anyways, that's my basic 45-degree swing bob on a diagonal and over directed to a stationary guide. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.